The United States is on the verge of losing not one, not two, but three major regions that would make this country collapse overnight. And we're going to break down exactly what just happened in today's video. The U.S. has made it very clear that they want two things, Greenland and the Panama Canal. They have been eyeing both of these locations for quite some time now. However, it seems that the U.S. is going to be left empty-handed once again. And in this video, we're going to find out why. But before we start, I need you to smash that like button because I'm gonna need you to comment your favorite G7 nation. Let's get right into it. Number 7, Greenland. We all know that Greenland is an autonomous Danish territory with a great strategic location in the Arctic Circle. This gives them access to the entire North Pole, meaning that they could easily control the majority of the world's shipping lanes. Due to this, the US has tried to purchase Greenland several times throughout history. In fact, back in 1946, the US even offered Denmark $100 million for Greenland, which is worth over $1 billion today. That's how much the US wanted this tiny island. Unfortunately for the US, Denmark didn't accept this offer. Instead, they decided to keep Greenland as their property. Currently, the US has a lot of military bases in Greenland, including the largest radar station in the world. So while they don't own the land itself, they do have a strong military presence there. On top of this, the US also has a close ally in Greenland, which is obviously Canada. If Canada and Greenland were to team up, then the US would basically be surrounded by these two countries from the north. Now, this wouldn't be a big deal if it wasn't for the fact that Greenland is full of natural resources. It has massive oil reserves, rare earth metals and strategic minerals that are worth over $5 trillion. With such valuable resources, it's no wonder why the US wants to own Greenland. They could use these resources to fuel their economy or even leverage other nations by controlling the supply of these materials. However, Greenland has remained in Danish hands. And it seems that the US will not be getting this territory anytime soon. Number 6, Panama Canal. Now let's talk about the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is a 50-mile-long waterway that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. It has been a major strategic asset for the United States since they built it back in 1914. For decades, the U.S. has controlled the Panama Canal, which has allowed them to project power around the globe. However, in 1977, the U.S. signed a treaty that gave Panama control of the canal by the year 2000. Despite this, the U.S. has continued to maintain a strong presence in Panama and they still have a major influence on the country. The U.S. wants to use the Panama Canal to control the flow of goods and military vessels between the two oceans. This would give them a major advantage in terms of trade and military operations. In fact, during the Cold War, the Panama Canal played a crucial role in the U.S. strategy to contain the spread of communism. It was through this canal that the U.S. was able to quickly deploy troops and supplies to Latin America and Southeast Asia. However, it seems that the U.S. is going to lose access to the Panama Canal due to the rise of China. China has been investing heavily in Panama and they have become a major trading partner for the country. In recent years, China has started to challenge the U.S. for influence in Panama. In fact, in 2018, China helped Panama build a new highway that connected the capital city of Panama City to the port of Balboa, which is located at the entrance to the Panama Canal. This highway has allowed China to transport goods more quickly and efficiently through the canal. In addition to this, China has also been offering loans and investments to Panama to further expand the canal's capacity. All of this has led to a decline in the U.S. influence in Panama and it seems that the U.S. is going to lose access to the Panama Canal in the near future. Number 5, Canada. As we mentioned earlier, the U.S. wants to buy Greenland so they can surround Canada with American land. Their goal is to gain control over Canada and turn it into the 51st state of the U.S. This idea may sound far-fetched, but it's actually been seriously considered by both American politicians and scholars. In fact, back in 1959, a bill was introduced in the U.S. Congress to annex Canada. Although the bill didn't go anywhere, it shows that there is definitely some interest in bringing Canada into the U.S. One of the main arguments in favor of annexing Canada is that it would give the U.S. access to vast amounts of natural resources. Canada has massive oil reserves, as well as significant deposits of minerals and timber. By annexing Canada, the U.S. would basically be adding a new energy colony to its territory. In addition to this, annexing Canada would also give the U.S. more clout on the global stage. Canada is a large country with a significant population. By annexing it, the U.S. would become even more powerful and influential. However, there are also a lot of arguments against annexing Canada. Many people believe that it would be a violation of Canada's sovereignty and that it would set a bad example for other countries. Additionally, annexing Canada would be a huge logistical challenge. It's a massive country with a different culture, infrastructure, and way of life. Trying to integrate it into the U.S. would be a nightmare for both countries. Eventually, this idea was completely abandoned and the US turned their attention to purchasing Greenland instead. But it seems that the US will come up short once again. Before we get into why the US is about to lose everything, we need to take a step back and look at what's happening in the world today. The US dollar has been on a decline in recent years, but many experts predict that it will continue to weaken in the near future. This is because of a variety of factors, including high inflation, increasing national debt, and geopolitical uncertainty. As the US dollar becomes less valuable, it will become more difficult for the US to purchase assets overseas. This includes countries like Greenland and the Panama Canal. Not only this, but a weaker US dollar will also make it more expensive for the US to maintain its military presence around the world. This could potentially lead to the US losing its global dominance, which would make it even more difficult to acquire Greenland and the Panama Canal. Why Canada just outplay the US? Now let's talk about why Canada just outplayed the US in this situation. First off, let's address the elephant in the room. Canada is seen as a weaker player compared to the United States. After all, Canada is a much smaller country with a much smaller economy and military. However, what Canada lacks in size, they make up for in strategy. Throughout history, Canada has developed a knack for using diplomacy and negotiation to get what they want. In the case of Greenland, for example, Canada has been working closely with Denmark to develop the region's natural resources. This has led to a strong economic partnership between the two countries that would make it difficult for the US to break up. On top of this, Canada also has a strong military presence in the Arctic. They have recently invested billions of dollars into their armed forces and they have a number of advanced warships and submarines. This strong military presence sends a clear message to the US that it wouldn't be easy to annex Canada. Canada has also been playing a key role in the Arctic Council, which is an intergovernmental forum that coordinates activities in the Arctic region. Through this council, Canada has been working with other countries to promote cooperation and peace in the Arctic. This further strengthens their position and makes it even less likely that the US would risk starting a conflict with them. Finally, it's important to note that Canada is a founding member of the North American Aerospace Defense Command, also known as NORAD. This is a joint defense command between Canada and the United States that was established after World War II. Through NORAD, Canada and the US work together to defend North America from potential air and missile attacks. This strong alliance between the two countries makes it even more unlikely that the US would try to annex Canada. In conclusion, despite being a smaller and seemingly weaker player, Canada has managed to outmaneuver the United States through a combination of smart diplomacy, a strong military presence, and key strategic partnerships. These moves have effectively deterred the US from pursuing any plans to annex Canada, ensuring that the Great White North remains a free and independent country. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.